April 11th, 2022 meeting of the Measure P and S committees. We have announcements. Do we please first?
Yeah. In-person rules. The city of Monterey is committed to the safe attendance of its public meetings. Masks are required for all people in person, regardless of vaccination status, except those who are younger than 2 years old and have medical condition that prevents wearing a mask. We ask that attendees in the council chambers keep their phones and devices muted to prevent audio interference and feedback with the hybrid meeting. The city of Monterey seeks to continue to offer virtual methods for public participation in meetings. If you aren't joining us in person here in the council chambers, there are 2 ways to virtually participate in this meeting. You may join in the meeting directly on Zoom.gov using the Zoom app on your computer or mobile device, and you can also call into the Zoom meeting. To join the meeting on Zoom on your computer, smartphone, or telephone, use the link or phone number on the agenda at isearch.org. To call into the Zoom meeting, dial toll-free number 833-568-8864, then enter meeting ID 160-897-7079, and if prompted, enter a participant and ID as pound. Detailed instructions on using Zoom are available on monterey.org/public meetings. To make a public comment using the Zoom app, you can virtually raise your hand by pressing the raise hand button at the bottom of your screen. If you dialed in by phone, raise your hand by dialing *9 and then unmute yourself when called upon by dialing *6. You must do both. Public commenters will be muted until it is their turn to speak. I will call on each public speaker in the order of their hands raised. Please stay within the time limit that will be established for today's meeting, which we will show using a countdown timer on the screen. If you are connected live on Zoom, the timer is accurate with no delay. Today's meeting is also streamed live on the city's YouTube account, which is accessible at youtube.com/City of Monterey with an approximate 10-second delay, and on Comcast channel 25 with up to a 90-second delay. As always, we look forward to receiving your public comments.
Thank you. And we'll start actually then with public comment. And this is the portion of the meeting that is allowed speakers to speak a maximum of 3 minutes on any subject which is within the jurisdiction of the Measure P&S Oversight Committee, but not on the agenda. We have any public comment?
No public comments.
Thank you. We'll move on, if we could, to approval of the minutes of the January 10th, 2022 meeting. Has everyone had a chance to look at those?
I'll move approval of the minutes.
Second.
Thank you. We have a motion and a second. Do we have any discussion? Do you have any public comment?
No public comments.
Okay, thank you. Then all in favor signify by saying, or actually we'll do a roll call, don't we? Do a roll call, please. Sorry.
Let's see, Justin Chang,
Yes.
Carol Trebajian,
Yes.
Rick Hoyer,
Yes.
and Patrick Aldinger and Nick Sina are not present.
Okay. So the motion passes with those at present. Thank you. Next, we have a review of the unaudited expenditures from July 1, 2021 through December 31, 2021 for conformance to the Measure P&S language.
Good morning, Chair and members. I just want to go ahead and get started on this. So we're going to look at the Measure P&S activity. So I'm going to skip the first page because the summary we'll talk about in the next item. So if we start with the first one, which is the storm drains, we'll see that we have total for vendors that was paid out of $76,252. And then we have staff time with another $5,700. So a total for this project, storm drains project of $82,000, $14,043 that was paid out through December, from July through the end of December. The next project, there are the sidewalks. We have a total of 523,000 to contractors. And then for in-house, 88,000 for a total of $611,723.92 paid out for sidewalks. Our pavement project, we have 220,964 paid out to vendors, and then 105,000 for in-staff. And so $326,020.64 is the total for the same time period. And the last group is for the ADA, 27,839.71 for the contractors, and then in-house 42,211.62 for a total paid out for $70,051.33 for this project.
Great. Questions? Anybody? Yes, Justin.
Just a brief question and comment. There's been quite a bit of work since our last meeting on the north side of town. The streets, Ramona, Montecito, English, Casa Verde, they look great. There was a question that came up from the community, and maybe this is for Director Wittry. There's a street crossing on Montecito and English, which is some beautiful brickwork. Some recent PG&E work sort of tore that up a little bit and paved over it. And I think the question is whether it's Measure PNS or our good friends at the utility company that would repair that or bring that back. Thank you.
So in general, when the utility company does do their own work, they need to repair in kind from what they've done. So without having an exact picture of that aspect of it, but for the questions to the public, really what it comes down to is that if the utility destroys something and they're doing their infinite wisdom of their work, they need to repair it in kind. So we can make sure that that happens. If there's something that doesn't happen that way, certainly let myself or my staff know, and our construction team can make sure that they're complying with the rules that they are supposed to follow.
Appreciate that. Thank you.
Is that intersection even finished now? I'm visualizing it and I'm not sure. I think there's still cones and stuff up there. Has it actually been finished?
Montecito, I drove through Montecito and Casa Verde yesterday.
English.
English.
Yeah.
I haven't driven through English. I don't know if it's actually all the way done yet, to be honest with you.
I'd say that's my neighborhood, and when I go down that way, I'm not clear that that intersection is finished yet, which hopefully is why, if it's not back to where it should be, that it isn't yet.
Certainly we can check that out.
Okay. I have a question because I don't know that I've ever seen that. What is biological monitoring? And I know it's in the storm drain, so it's probably something not particularly pleasant.
It's exactly what it sounds like. Basically, if we have something that's going into an area of riparian, which is kind of near a water, something like that, we have to have a biologist monitor to make sure that we're not taking any critters that we're not supposed to. It could be something in the ground. It could be for raptors or birds. We just have to make sure that the biology that's out there, we're not impacting the life. So it's much more pleasant than it sounds. But it's because it's making sure we don't harm endangered species and things of that nature.
Okay. And then question on this sidewalks. We've got all kinds of, you've got plant services, tree services. Are this replacing trees over the side?
Yeah, often what happens if it's an uplift in a city sidewalk caused by a city tree, we have to take a tree down, which is where you'll see the tree service from West Coast arborists. Generally, they would be removing trees. And then when the tree is removed, it's generally replaced with additional tree, which has a root guard so it doesn't uplift the sidewalk into the future. So when you see the sidewalks, you see the West Coast arborists, either doing root trimming or actual tree removal to facilitate the sidewalk repair.
Okay.
And once again, if I could just throw
In
something
front
there, I apologize, but if you see those, I'm just looking at the sidewalk, when you see several items for DUDEC is our environmental consultant, and many times when we're doing these trees, They're in
Yeah.
areas of Native American concern. So anytime we dig in those areas, we have to have a Native American person making sure that we're not disturbing any remains. So
Okay.
on that particular sidewalk aspect, that's what DUDEC does for us.
Okay, all right, thank you. Perfect. Anybody else have any other questions? Rick? No? Do we have any public comment?
No public comments.
Great. Then could I ask for a motion to approve the unaudited expenditures from July 1, 2021 through December 31, 2021 for conformance to Measure P and S language?
Motion to approve as presented.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Do we have any discussion? No? Then could we have a roll call vote, please?
Justin Chang,
Yes.
Carol Tribajian,
Yes.
Rick Hoyer,
Yes.
and Patrick Aldinger and Nick Sina are not present today.
Thank you. Then we'll move on to unaudited periodic report for July 1, 2021 through December 31, 2021, please.
Okay, so we're gonna go over now the money part. So from the inception, from December, from the inception of the measure P and S through December 31, the total revenue, which includes interest that's been received, is $62,227,256. Total expenditures have been $53,929,901, which gives us a fund balance remaining of $8,297,355. For the first and second quarters of the current fiscal year 21-22, that is from July 1, 2021 through December 31, 2021. Our total revenues received is $3,656,109. Our total expenditures have been $1,889,810. And so the total change in fund balance was an increase of $2,566,299 for that period. And then we also have a year-to-year comparable. So as of December 31, 2020, compared through December 31, 2021. So we had tax revenues from that same period of 3.5 million. And currently from 2021, 3.6 million. So a total revenue, 3,617,000 and 1. And then for 2021, it is 3,656,109. The total expenditures as of December 31, 2020 was 8,936,832. And total expenditures as of December 31, 2021 was 1,089,810. So the revenues for 2020 was under by 5 million, and then currently they're over by 2.5 million.
I don't know why I was thinking that, oh, yes, Rick?
No, go ahead.
No, go ahead, sorry.
Okay. It's nice to see revenue is ahead of same period last year. I guess my question is, why have we spent 7.8 million less in the first half of this year compared to the first half of last year? I mean, that's a huge difference.
So part of that can be attributed to how we were slowing ourselves down a little bit with uncertain revenues. We had taken smaller construction projects forward because it was uncertain how long the pandemic would go forward. So we actually tapped the brakes for construction for a little bit, and that would explain a lot of that aspect of it. We're going to have a lot more actually next quarter. You'll see some more expenditures happening. We had a lot of road work that's going on late summer, but a big part of that is the uncertainty of the funding stream and how we would when it would come out of the pandemic aspect.
Thank you.
And I was looking at it, the 3.3 million 6. I don't know why I was thinking, does it pick up? I I was thinking we were getting more in the first half of the year because we're going to end up more at the 8 million. So we pick up in the spring through June then in sales tax collection, but this looks, I was thinking it was slower, but it looks about the same. That's number one. Number two, what are we going to, oh my God. We had a discussion the other day at MCHA about how the repaving of the track price has gone up substantially because of the cost of asphalt. And how, Steve, is that, are we contracted for stuff that's got firm pricing on it? Or how are we looking for asphalt?
So just as a basic summary, asphalt is never a firm price when we're bidding it or constructing it. Asphalt is basically what you do is you bid it on the day that you have, and then there's an index that's kept statewide. It's through Caltrans, they monitor it. And that index, if there's a change in the price of asphalt through that process, it's levied against that index for either an increase or a decrease. We actually did see some decreases in our costing actually after the contract was awarded during the COVID situation, oil prices fell dramatically, and we are seeing an increase right now because as oil prices are expanding. And that's something that just happens for the construction industry, as you're aware and seeing. So we don't have a locked-in price for any asphalt work. It has a variable for that asphalt because it's a changeable commodity that fluctuates on the market.
So do we really then, we don't know what we're paying till we get billed for it, basically?
No, we know we have a good sense of it because we follow the index as well. And generally that's why we have a construction contingency that goes along with our awards. Generally for paving projects, it's in the order of 15%, 15%. And it's to accommodate anything that we may want to do in addition that we find there, or that fluctuation of asphalt prices. Generally from the award of a contract to the actual paving aspect of it, it doesn't spike too much, almost as a award somewhere that actually causes an artificial spike. And most times it actually is I'm going to say ridden out, and we don't see that raise. But when we have something like we've just seen, where we have a sudden spike, we do end up paying for that on the other side. And yes, there are construction projects that will have that additional cost.
Any other, I guess that now that we know we have money, or the money's, as the sales tax collection is better, it's going to get eaten up potentially by some of this increase in asphalt. I don't know how. I mean, I know like oil prices and gasoline prices, it's up, down, up, down. I'm not clear that it's not going down like everybody's like, oh, good, it's going to go down. Well, yeah, by 2 cents, not anything substantial.
Yeah, and I think this as a key for this aspect of it, for us with asphalt, it really goes with the price of the barrel of crude oil. The price of gasoline never actually comes like it should for whatever reason. So right. for us, where asphalt is the price of crude oil, we will likely see a little bit increase of the cost for the contractors, their overhead and so forth, because they still put fuel and materials like that into their vehicles to do the construction. But the actual asphalt itself is really based upon the price of the barrel of crude.
Yeah, I was proud of myself the other day when John Narigi asked if we understood why the asphalt price was going up for the repaving of the track. I'm like, pick me. I know that answer. I know that. Any other questions? Do we have any public comment?
No public comments.
Okay, thank you. Could I have a motion to approve the unaudited periodic report for the period of July 1, 2021 through December 31, 2021, please?
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Do we have any discussion? You have no public comment? Could we have a roll call vote, please?
Yes. Justin Peng,
Yes.
Carol Trebajian,
Yes.
Rick Hoyer,
Yes.
and Rick Aldinger, Nick Sina are not present.
Motion is approved with those present. present. Thank you. Okay, then we'll move on to review the street rehabilitation and reconstruction report from March 2015 through June 2022.
So what you have in your packet is an alphabetized list of the streets that we've actually done work on. As you can see, it's quite extensive as we go through this. If it's on the listing here, it's indicating that it has had some kind of work done, be it a slurry, be it reconstruction or some other aspect to it. I think that as we're looking through this process and we're trying to identify how we've done, you know, at some point in the very near future, a map's going to be more beneficial than a listing of, you know, some very large number of pages to kind of show exactly where we are. And I've actually instructed my staff to go ahead and make that more clear. So it's something that we put on the public on our website as well, so that people can understand what streets we've actually, I'm going to say, hit, and what streets are still pending coming forward. But this is a list. It's a very, like I said, exhaustive list. It's alphabetical. Each one of the items is considered a segment or a block. That's why you see Airport Road, you know, 5 or 6 times, or more than that. Each segment is a block, and that's how our system tracks it. And we have over 1,100 segments within our street system.
So we don't know, and then if we're going to get a map, that we don't know whether as you say, what has been done. Is it slurry? Is it repay? What has been done on the specific street? Correct.
We know, it's just what we've done is we tried to take a little snippet. So what this is actually is a snippet from our pavement management system, and this is 3 columns of a fairly large database that goes across it that shows a lot more data that could be presented, and we can bring it forward. But we just kind of chose something that was legible to try to show where we've been. There are additional columns that show what has happened, the current PCI for each one of those streets and so forth. I think the actual, you know, call it spreadsheet, if you will, I want to say without exaggeration, it has about 40 columns that should be displayed and shown for the various aspects for each individual segment. And like I said, we tried to make something that was clear. This is something we kind of showed last year. We kind of updated it, but I think at the point now, a map to identify what locations is probably more beneficial than something like this, which is a list of like I say, 15 odd pages to it. So as we're doing the packet for this item, it's like, you know what, this is maybe not the best way to present the data.
Right. Yeah, 40 columns. That sounds like a lot of fun.
It's like, you know, when I date myself here, there's an old commercial used to be for the NBA. It's fantastic, right? So it's, you know.
Yeah. Rick, you have a question?
Yeah, is this only items done by Measure P&S, or does it include streets and things done with other sources of funding? The reason I ask is I know Alta Mesa Circle had a slurry seal done and other work done on it, but it's not on this list, because I also know it was not paid for by P&S. So is this just P&S or is it everything?
To be honest with you, I believe it's just P&S, but I can't swear to that as we're sitting here today. I need to verify that from staff. I believe it is, but it may not be. I'm not sure at this moment.
Yeah, let's just make sure it's clear one way or the other, because otherwise we've done a whole lot more than just this but it's because you all are doing work with other funds too, not just P&S. So
Right. And
I
part of
just
the
happen
problem
to know the circle was slurry sealed, and I didn't see it, so I was curious.
Yeah. And it does get a little bit complicated, because as you're well aware, is if we have multiple sources for a particular street segment or street area, we kind of combine those as part of that process. So we'll try to get a little more fidelity as to how the segments were done and paid for.
Yeah, because when it is, Rick, yeah, because some of it's coming from NIP money, right? And if that's the case where you've been like, and again, Cannery Row.
There's also gas tax funds. So
yeah. And like in Cannery Row, the Cannery Row Business Association on some of those corners. So that's been combined as well. And if that doesn't, then if we could, then Steve, so that we can see a true picture of everything that's been done. And I don't know how much is left out of that from this report, but we should see everything. And actually, I'd like to see what the PCI is on all of the different streets too. in the 40 columns. I wouldn't mind seeing that.
And Carol, there's gas tax and then also matching funds from Measure X as well, so, which is
Yeah.
TNC. So there are a lot of different pots that Steve gets to play with.
Yeah, and like I say, without causing more confusion to the aspect of it, I do believe this looks more like solely Measure P aspect, because I'm not seeing Fremont Street on here either. For example, then a lot of work was done on North Fremont Street with a different project, different funding source, of course, than P and so forth with the grant funding. So we'll provide a little more clarity for you this in future reports.
Do you have any other questions? Do we have any public comment?
No public comment.
And we have a motion then to approve the, I don't know that we need to approve it, just that, or what do we need to do with this? We're just, Rick, we're just looking it over.
You're receiving.
Yeah, just motion to approve receiving this report.
I'll second your motion, Carol.
Thank you. Do we have any discussion? And could we have a roll call vote, please?
Yes. Justin Chain,
Yes.
Carol Turbagian,
Yes.
Rick,
Rick Hoyer, yes.
and Rick Aldinger and Nick Sina are not present.
Thank you. We have approved based on those present. Do we have anything else? I still have a quick question, Steve, and I know this is off the, well, I can ask you, I'll email you about the trees on my street. Because I asked about it the last time, and I just, again, I'm just curious. Yes, you have your hand up?
Yeah, so one of the things I just want to let you folks know in kind of an official aspect, and take the notes for the future. I'll actually be leaving the city of Monterey before the next Measure P Oversight meeting. So I wanted to thank you and the committee for all your work going forward for this process. But I'll actually be leaving the city of Monterey in mid-July, actually. So just wanted to make you guys aware. Thank you for all your support and all your hard work to help the infrastructure of the city of Monterey. And Andrea is on the line here. She'll be taking over the process for us within the engineering division. So Andrea will be our interim city engineer as we move forward. But like I say, it's a very hard decision about taking a job that's a little bit closer to my own house. So thank you for your.
Oh, where are you going?
So I'm actually going to work for the San Benito County Water District. And I'll start there. Yeah, I'll start in July of July 18th, actually. I'll start over there.
Oh, well, I'm very sorry. Thank you for everything that you do, that you've done, and that you'll continue to do till you leave. And if you change your mind, you can say, we're happy. We'd be happy.
Yeah. Yeah, thank you very much. It was a very, very difficult decision. It took a lot of sleepless nights, but it's a very difficult decision that my family had to make. So, like I said, I want to thank you all for the work you've done. Without you guys leading the charge through the whole process, we never would have gotten through the initial Measure P. We never would have gotten through Measure S. And I think it was a really good partnership to actually improve the city's infrastructure going forward. It's in solid hands with Andrea, and Sarah is her right hand to make sure we're going through the process. But it just is, it is hard. So, but it is solid moving forward.
Well, are we going to see them walking their streets like you do? Checking
They
everything?
will do everything. It's hard to keep Andrea in the office. I don't know if you've talked to Andrea before. It's hard to keep her in the office sometimes because she does have a pension to go out. So yes, they and the other part about it is I'm not dying. I am a phone call away. So it's something that can be, there's only so much. there's a couple months to transfer knowledge, but there's still some aspects that are going forward, and there's just some things that just won't happen. And I'm a phone call away, and both of them have my cell phone and home numbers as well. So.
Okay, great. Thank you. Thank you very much. We have anything else? We have any public comment? Great, then we will adjourn the April 11th P&S Oversight Committee. Thank you, everybody, and see you all soon, hopefully.